Hey there, my name is Jolene. I'm a mom to 11, sharing our journey of our family, growth, and brain development. Years ago, I had no idea how much our brains could change, how simple exercises could transform focus, behavior, and life itself. Now, I'm here to share that journey, what I've learned, what actually worked, and how we can make it all happen in a house full of kids. Welcome to 11 Minds, One Mission. Let's get started. So this video is about the fear paralysis and the Moro. It does go into showing you how to test it on someone. You're going to see me refer to this page every time I'm talking about a reflex, but you have here the fear paralysis. Right here it shows when it should no longer be there, why it's there in the first place, and then the exercise they need. So you'll notice the starfish is also the same as the Moro, and it's because they go hand in hand. Fear paralysis, these are the symptoms that would come with this reflex, and up here where it says in utero, that's when it's being developed. So this is being developed in utero, and then it said by the time they were born it should go away. Moro, it appears during the birthing process. The moment the baby's born, then the fear paralysis should go away. Moro should come out. Now sometimes that doesn't happen the way it should be happening. So fear paralysis, the best way that I explain it to parents is when you fall asleep, then your brain makes sure your body's safe before it falls asleep, and that's when you start hearing like the wind or the trees or sounds that the house makes, things that you normally don't notice during your day-to-day activities. But the ones with this reflex still on, those are the things they always hear. They can't shut it off. They will always hear it. A lot of times they are very sensitive to sound. Everything sounds amplified. You have the whole list here. So the ones with the fear paralysis and without the Moro, when we take the fear paralysis away, we expect to start seeing the Moro. And if you see this long list of symptoms that come with the Moro, this is the longest list out of all of them. There's times where the parents would think their child is getting worse. We're just following the developmental blueprint as the fear paralysis goes away. The Moro will come out and you'll see a lot of these symptoms. For the Moro, you have school problems, poor balance, motion sickness, emotional, anxiety, depression, hypersensitive to sound, touch, or sight, fidgety, hyperactive, lack of focus, vestibular problems, tics, allergies, autistic characteristics. This is the one that was a part of my story where my child had the autistic characteristics here, and I kept thinking he was going to grow out of it. They will not grow out of these things. You have to help them move past it, and we have to that developmental blueprint. When I first saw these exercises, I wondered if it was a joke. How is this really changing the brain? How is this happening? But the more I did, the more people I helped, the more that I saw hundreds and hundreds of people, parents would come in thinking their child has autism, then we just turn off this reflex here and the symptoms go away. So I watched it work. Anyways, here is the assessment. Okay, we're going to show you how to test for the Moro reflex. And there's a few ways to test for this, but the first one is going to be, I call it the trust fall. He's almost as tall as I am, but if he was taller than me, then I wouldn't be able to do this because he would probably smash me. Okay, so trust fall. We're going to have him fall backwards and I'm going to catch him. What I'm watching for is his hands. Okay, fall back. There we go. So what I watch for is if his hands go out. The two things that I was watching for is if his hands go back or his foot steps backwards. The other way you can test for this reflex is you have them close your eyes, then you make a loud noise, and then you see if they jump at all. Some of them hold their breath. Okay, so what I'm watching for on this one is if he jumps. If any loud noises make them jump. The last way I test this is when he lays down on the floor. So lay down. Is he's gonna close his eyes, gonna hold his head, just relax your head. Can turn it this way, but when I'm turning it this way, I'm actually testing a different reflex, but we'll talk about that one on a different video. I'm just doing this to make sure they are able to relax their head into my hand. In a fast motion, I make their head fall, but I catch it. What I watch for is if his arms go up. So this would be a negative. So when I do this now, Ryan, put your arms up, like that. That would be a positive. We're gonna show an example of what happens when it is positive. So when he falls back, go back, arms go up, yep, there we go. That would be a positive one. Try again. Negative one. Fear paralysis is when a child is screaming and before anyone has even touched them, when they go to the dentist, the doctors, anywhere new, then they will just be screaming for no reason. Another way to test for fear paralysis, because sometimes it's a silence. They don't scream. It's all inside, so another way. You most likely won't see an adult screaming at a doctor's appointment. So the way we find it as they get older is when their head faces down and they sway forward. Sometimes you'll catch it that way in kids too when they're not screaming. And Moro, we are going to do starfish. This can work any way. You can have him on the ground, in a chair, on a trampoline, anywhere works. But what we're gonna have him do is when he hears a loud noise, his arms go out, his legs go out, his head goes back. Because of the Moro, we're trying to get to the cerebellum. When he comes back, crosses his arms, crosses his legs, and when I do it again, he goes up, arms up, legs out, and then he's gonna do the opposite. So he is switching sides. So the arms and the legs are switching sides every time we try this. Ready?
Yeah.
Hands back, okay. The opposite sides. So what you're watching is mimicking a newborn. When they get startled, arms go out, legs go out, going back in. So we're basically mimicking what happens when they're a newborn. Okay, the other way to get rid of this. So when I have an older person in our program, I don't have them sit there and do a starfish. What I have them do is I'm gonna have them stand on this, and then I'll go get my laser. Even though most people don't have a laser, I'm still gonna use the equipment that I do have. So anything would work that forces them to practice balancing, because I'm gonna have him close his eyes. This is also for the TLR. So fear paralysis, I put the setting on cerebellum. I'm putting it on the right side. So remember, we're doing fear paralysis and Moro because they fall hand in hand together. It's working with the fear paralysis as we are working on the Moro. So right now we're having him close his eyes. So we're gonna have him face up. Remember, TLR2. This gets easier after you do this for about 2 weeks. Okay, so now here we go, the facing down part. Now I'll show you another time during a session where I work on the fear paralysis. You're gonna hear me say a lot, we need to do co-activation, just meaning I do more than one thing to get faster results. So when I'm having to do the side core, not only am I working on his core, I'm using my laser for the fear paralysis. So right now, again, I am showing you everything that I do, specifically for the Moro and fear paralysis. So up, side core, elbows, hips up. There we go. He is doing this, but I'm also doing the fear paralysis. And my laser has a timer, so. Okay, this one is specifically from Dr. Jerry Levine that she taught me this. Toes pointing out, thumbs pointing in, a fear paralysis, and then you walk that way as I am lasering the right cerebellum. So I'm also going to go through the questionnaire that's for adults to do the adult primitive reflex checklist assessment. So some people just go through the checklist just to see if this is something they're interested in, even getting the physical assessment too. If you answer 5 out of this list of 10 here, then I would highly suggest that you get this specific reflex tested. First one, anxiety, hypersensitive to touch, sound, changes in visual field, dislikes of changes or surprises, breath holding, fear of social embarrassment, insecure, lack of trust in oneself, overly clingy or may be unable to accept or demonstrate affection, easy, negativism, won't try new activities, temper tantrums, motor paralysis under stress, can't think and move at the same time. So that is the fear paralysis list. Now we have the Moro. So let's see if you have 5 out of these 11. For the Moro, excessive blinking, hypersensitive to sudden noise, light, or movement, hyperstartle response followed by rapid heartbeat, difficulty with new or stimulating experiences, impulsive behavior, vestibular problems, anxiety, frequent ear and throat infections, depleted energy, fatigue, mood swings, dislike of changes, sensitivity to food, chronic digestive problems from childhood. Okay, so those are the 2 that we're going to go over, and if you answered at least 50% of these, then you most likely have these reflexes retained, and it's causing gaps on either or both sides of the brain. It also shows that the foundation of the brain is not strong. So yes, it's hard to believe that those simple exercises will help with these different symptoms, but it really does. Trust me, just try it, That is it for this week. We are still just trying to post every Thursday. Next week, I do plan on posting a video of infant physical therapy. I recorded it even though we did not get through all of these. So if you know anybody that has an infant that's ready to crawl but they are not crawling yet and they are not reaching their milestones, then that video will be posted next Thursday. This baby started getting into his next step after just 9 sessions. So that's gonna be next time. So next time I'm gonna share the video of doing infant physical therapy with a baby, and also we're gonna go over the ATNR, so asymmetric tonic neck reflex. So that is gonna be the next primitive reflex that we're gonna go over. Well, I'll see you next week. Thank you. Hopefully, I don't know if you made it to the end of this.